that if I do have that set up, first of all, I need to have the ISO in auto. If I do have the ISO in auto, then I don't have 100% control of the camera, because the camera is obviously, the ISO is going to be changing any time. So I'm shooting manually with the shutter and the f-stop, but not with the ISO, because the camera is going to be changing the ISO for me, right?
That's correct.
Now, when I shoot that way, you're saying that if the camera gives me any ISO that the camera thinks that is right, then I can tell the camera, no, by the way, underexpose to this point,
Yes.
or overexposed to this point. But it's telling the camera, basically it's doing the same thing that I'll do with ISO anyway when I see that the picture is underexposed.
That's correct.
So what is the point of having this feature then?
From what I understand, the engineer said it makes it easier for people who shoot sports if they want to just change the exposure on the fly. It's easier for them to do so.
By
To
changing
me,
the,
I don't see the point.
but changing the exposure on the fly means changing the ISO, which means changing the overall settings.
Right.
Okay, so because I was told that I can change the exposure without changing the settings, so the ISO was going to be the same, the shutter speed was going to be the same, and the f-stop was going to be the same. But now you're saying no, it's not that way. When you do use this feature, you will be changing the ISO anyway.
That's correct.
Okay, that's clear. And the second question that I have, I'm going to be photographing a white dress for the bride. That's the only thing that I'm going to be photographing. Now, I understand that the histogram is going to be in the right hand side. Do I need to have something in the dark side as well of the histogram?
No, as long as as long as you don't blow out the highlights on the dress, you wouldn't really need anything on the dark side of the history.
Why will that be the case? Why will I not need anything in the dark side of the histogram?
Because if the dress is the only thing you're taking a picture of, anything else that will pull away from the dress could cause the dress to darken. So that's the problem with white dresses. Anything else that's darker than the dress itself is going to cause the dress itself to darken as well.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't need anything dark on the other side to balance. What you're looking for is balance. Is what you're trying to find. But
what I want to do is I want to expose correctly. But I want to make sure that I was told that even though I'm still getting the right exposure, I still need to have a line of information going from the left side, from the dark sides of the histogram, all the way to the bright sides of the histogram, and then obviously the histogram is going to it's going to pick going up with the pixels and everything. But I was told that I still need to have a dark side, and I was like, why will I have to have some information in the dark side when to begin with I'm not photographing anything that is dark, it's white?
Right, exactly. You wouldn't, because you're concerned that the histogram, the only thing the histogram is supposed to display is whether or not the exposure is correct. So you don't really need anything on the dark side as long as the exposure of the dress is correct. Nothing's blown out.
Right. So the same.
Like if you're taking the dress and the groom and he's in dark colors, yeah, you're going to get
I'm going to get information in the dark side, but in that case, I will not get any information in the white side, because obviously nothing is white if I'm photographing something that is dark.
That's correct.
And there's no need to have a line in this case, when photographing the dark sides or something that's dark, there's no need to go a line all the way through the bottom of the histogram until it meets the little mountains, the peak showing the data from the dark object that I'm photographing.
That's right. There's no need for that.
All right. All right, then. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help, okay?
No problem. Was there anything else I could help you with?
No, thank you. That was very helpful.
All right. Well, thanks for calling, Ken, and you have a good evening, okay?
Thank you. Take care.